Charges are now filed in a Robbinsdale crash that killed a Crystal mother of two and seriously injured her husband. 20-year-old Quentin Hudson of Minneapolis is charged with fleeing police, criminal vehicular operation, and criminal vehicular homicide. The criminal complaint says Hudson rapidly accelerated when an officer tried to pull him over for speeding. When the officer asked why he didn't stop, Hudson replied he didn't want to. The crash killed Emily Girding and seriously injured her husband. Both worked as special ed teachers in the Anoka-Hennepin School District. The complaint says Hudson was traveling at speeds of up to 90 miles per hour when he slammed into their minivan. An organization dedicated to helping local youth get jobs just got a big funding boost. Brooklink received a state grant that will work to break down employment barriers in 2 local cities.
Integrating grant revenue allows for us to be able to also do more and to serve more and to be really intentional about making sure that we're providing high quality employment and training opportunities for young people to build our future labor force here in the Brooklands.
Catrice O'Neill is a program director for Brooklynk, a program that helps young people between the ages of 16 and 24 from Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park find summer internships and learn essential job skills. Brooklink just received a $125,000 Youth at Work grant from Minnesota's Department of Employment and Economic Development to help continue its programming.
This additional funding allows for us to really kind of provide more support services to respond to some of the barriers like transportation and childcare and housing that oftentimes our interns are facing and their families.
Currently, there are 96 teenagers and young adults working summer internships with 20 employers around the Northwest Metro. That includes the city of Brooklyn Park, where Lena Ahmed is spending the summer working in the city's communications department. One of her duties is to help promote the city's farmers market.
I'm grateful to have the opportunity to work with Brooklink. It gives me a chance to apply some of the knowledge and skills that I previously had in the professional workspace and be able to network with some of these people that can help me advance my career in the future.
A total of 47 organizations received more than $7 million in grants from the state. Each of those organizations provide job training opportunities for economically disadvantaged and at-risk youth. A head-on collision in western Wisconsin has now claimed the life of a Golden Valley woman. Sierra Ellis was severely injured in the crash that occurred after midnight on June 11th on westbound I-94 near Menominee. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner says Ellis has now died from injuries sustained in the crash. According to the State Patrol, another driver was traveling east in westbound lanes when the crash occurred. That driver, a 33-year-old man from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, also died in the crash. It's unclear why he ended up traveling in the wrong lanes. Brooklyn Center is preparing to host a new crime dashboard on the city's website. The police department has been developing the dashboard since early last year. Police Commander Tony Grunig said the program is, quote, light years ahead of what the city currently has on the website. The department will update the dashboard and map functions every day. Interactive features also allow users to compare crime by neighborhood, day of the week, or year. Police expect to have the dashboard live on Brooklyn Center's website this week. A familiar face was in Plymouth today telling outdoor stories and raising money for a debilitating disease. As Kevin Miller reports, the event brought laughs as well as funding for a cure.
Back in 1994, I got the chance to start the show Minnesota Bound.
A Minnesota celebrity made an appearance at Trillium Woods Senior Living, and no, his dog Raven didn't come with.
Everybody wants to see the dog. Nobody wants to see me, but I'll tell you something, ladies. The checks come to me.
Ron Cher's visit wasn't only for a chat over lunch. He was at the Senior Living Center to raise money for the Alzheimer's Association.
It's such a tragic disease that even if you don't have direct knowledge of it, you know it's tragic.
More than 6 million Americans have the brain disease.
Just one distant relative who didn't understand it at the time. I said hello, she said hello to me. Nice to see you, Ron. And 5 minutes later she said, oh, it's nice to see you, Ron.
Residents at Trillium Woods aren't strangers to the difficulties it brings.
My wife has Alzheimer's, and she's probably in the earlier stages of it right now.
Rick Weatherman and his wife have lived at Trillium Woods since 2015.
Takes a lot of patience and a lot of time with her, and making sure that she can get all the things done that she needs to do.
Fundraising opportunities like this one mean more to him than just a chance to listen and socialize.
It's always been worthwhile because I have my wife in the game. It's very, very worthwhile.
Trillium Woods has lofty goals for the fundraising campaign.
Our goal is to raise $25,000 for Alzheimer's.
Weatherman said he's hopeful new drugs can treat Alzheimer's as it progresses or ultimately find a cure, but
It's like a 23-inch walleye.
until then, a big name in outdoor entertainment helped families like the Weathermans find some laughs.
And from the other side of the lake, we hear a ooh, ooh, ooh. His eyes are wild too.
Because we knew he'd bring his top stuff.
In Plymouth, Kevin Miller, CCX News.
The Minnesota State Fair is creeping up on us, just over a month away. But preparations and new food concoctions are already taking place. Crystal ice cream shop La Michoacana Rose has released new State Fair food treats. It makes paletas, which are Mexican-style ice pops. This year, just for the State Fair, it created a dill pickle lemonade paleta and a mini donut version, which contains ice cream and a cinnamon mini donut inside. You will be able to find the treats at the Hamlin Church Dining Hall. They are among more than 30 new foods and beverages you will find this year at the fair.
It's a grueling 5-day tournament. The Champlin Park American Legion baseball team made it to the final day of the 96-team Gopher Classic tournament. Jay Wilcox reports on the semifinals and finals.
Champlin Park ready for action against Omaha Burke of Nebraska in the semifinals of the big Gopher Classic American Legion baseball tournament. There isn't a ton of offense in this one. Champlin Park turns a nice 4-6-3 double play here, started by second baseman Chase Oxborough to keep Burke off the board. Preston Tilke is superb on the mound for the Rebels. He gets the swinging strikeout to end the third inning on his way to a great outing. Leading 1-0, Champlin Park's Nick Carlson gets an RBI here as his bouncer to third scores Joe Therrelson in the top of the fifth to make it 2-0 Rebels. An inning later, Max Janisch lifts a fly ball to right that is plenty deep enough to score Kellen Oligmuller with an insurance run. It's 3-0 Champlin Park. And Tilke, a late roster ad, mows him down, ending the win with one of his 8 strikeouts in a one-hit shutout performance. 3-0 Champlin Park is the final. Another Nebraska team, Papillion South, awaits Champlin Park in the championship game. In the fourth inning, Janisch drops a hit to short right field. Carlson scores on the play, but Papillion gets the final out of the inning on the bases. It's 1-0 Champlin Park. Top of the sixth, and Papillion's Jordan Rowe delivers a base hit to right field. Riley Schrader dives in with the tying run. Another low-scoring battle. It's 1-1 through 6 innings. In the bottom of the seventh, Justin Brooks starts a rally by lining a single into left field to give the Rebels hope. After another hit and a costly error with Oligmuller up, the wild pitch allows Brooks to score the tournament-winning run. Champlin Park wins 2-1, going 9-0 to take the Gopher Classic title.
Being the only Minnesota team, it's amazing, I know. Playing 3 Nebraska teams is pretty cool, but it's kind of sad for them because they have a long ride home now.
Feels amazing. We played a lot of good teams. Glad we could come out on top.
A great run for the Rebels. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Champlin Park joins Wayzata as local winners of the Gopher Classic. Wayzata was most recently champions in 2019. Taking a kid fishing can be a lot of fun, but might require a little more patience for the adult angler out with the child. Terry Tuma explains in this week's CCX Fishing Tip.
had several questions recently about taking kids fishing. Any advice? And yes, and we've all been through that. But first of all the kids want to do is have action. They do not care about the size of the fish, just action, action, action. That also goes from dock fishing or shore fishing. And two, when you're talking about this, is don't get a Snoopy rod and reel. Somebody just mentioned to me, what a great idea. Go with a regular rod and reel. It doesn't have to be an expensive one, but just something that maybe you would use, or sort of a hand-me-down, if you will. And then two, if they want to play in a minnow bucket with the leeches, let them do that. And I think the biggest ingredient here, and I had a friend that went through this, they were catching a lot of walleyes. He did not want to go in, and his son wanted to go in. And to this day, as far as I know now, his son does not want to fish walleye. So here again, when they get tired in the boat or on the dock, let them go in and forget about yourself. And many times to help the child fish, don't worry about you catching fish, just make it a great day of fishing. A lot of action, a lot of action.
Thanks, Terry. And that's all for sports. More CCX News after this.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Make a plan today.